10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it a banger?
Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Yo, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Army Piper, and this is the Piper Academy. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, comparing it to the previous election cycles. We also have a really deep thread from Miles Deutscher that we're going to look at and ask about where's retail, and plus, what the hell happened yesterday with NVIDIA's earnings reports and the market dump. Guys, we're going to be looking at that and a whole lot more today on the Piper Academy Morning Market Report. Let's get it. Classes in session. Good morning, everybody, and welcome here to the Morning Market Report. If you guys are just joining us, this is the show that we go into the economics. We look at this data, and we got to talk about the GDP that came out today because we had that report dropping on us, looking a little better than we thought. It might actually have moved us to a 25 basis point. We're going to have to wait to see how that data aggregates over there at the Federal Reserve, but maybe looking at a 25 basis point rate cut instead of a 50 basis point because the data was, quote, that good. You know how that goes. But I don't do this show by myself. I'm usually here with OC Guy, and he is here today. However, pause for effect. We do have Trade Fly in here today, even though he was sick. I told him he was not going to sit call without showing up to formation first, so he's here reporting for duty. What's up, Trade Fly? How you doing, man?
What's going on? Hopefully, I don't die on stream like I did last night when the nightcap. But hey, feeling all right. Happy to be here. Ready to mix it up with you guys in chat. And I am excited. What's today? Thursday. So getting close to the weekend.
It's
Almost
Thursday.
there. Almost there. Almost there. Thirsty Thursday, baby. Get your coffee ready. There's a little shill for Legendary Aviation Coffee. If you ain't drinking that, you ain't doing it right.
That's right.
And go support my boy at In and Out Crypto. Matter of fact, you guys can get a little bit of a discount there. Use TradeFly15 when you check out. You can get a 15% discount. You got some new merch out there. I'm about to buy a hoodie. Let's go.
Let's go. We need to actually swap out yours then for the one that's below, because I want people to save as much money as possible, and the one down below is for 10%, but you have a 15%. So
I do. It's a Labor Day weekend special, so
it's only
save some money.
Okay.
It is, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into this data. We got a few people that have joined us here, so let's get into this data. Let's see how we're looking here. We had that GDP data that came out yesterday. I want to talk about that, and then we're going to get into a very interesting post on X from Miles Deutscher. I want to talk about that one too. So, guys, dig in. We're going to be doing a lot of TA today. Very little news, actually, no articles today. We do have this other data though, so I want to get into that. Let's jump in and check it out. Nope, that one. There we go. All right, guys, looking at the data here. Sorry, this mobile setup, I'm still getting it all down. Looking at this data here on the market cap, guys, we are up it's at 2.2%. We're up 0.16% here on the daily. Bitcoin dominant sitting at 54% flat, up 0.04%. And then we have the fear and greed index sitting at 29. I'm going to go ahead and just move your guys' comments over there. I can see you all chatting it up in the chat there. So looking at the fear and greed here, sitting at 29, guys. Right now, yesterday we were at 30. So we're staying pretty much in fear as we stay in this static range. Looking here on the daily, you can see the hourly. We're getting some movement. Fetch is up 2.3 on the hourly, guys. Flare is up 3.9. Helium dropping down to about 2.8. But when we go over here and look at the daily, still got some red. Some things still need to level out. Dogs down 7.7 after its parabolic run yesterday. Fetch down 3.9%. Still got some green in here. Let's look over here at the actual Bitcoin Ethereum numbers here. Bitcoin sitting above $60,000. Key level to hold, right? It's about 60,500 right now. You can see it's up 1.2% on the daily, up 0.3% on the hourly. Ethereum sitting above 2,500. Key area for it to sit above. So things aren't looking horrible here. They're just, everyone wants this thing to just get moving, and we get these pullbacks every time that something should be moving us up. We're coming down. And every time that we think that something's going to bring us down, we go up. But overall, guys, we're going to look at a chart. It's going to show you we're pretty much right where we're supposed to be, which is what we've been saying. That's been the narrative that we have pushed here on Piper Academy now for about 2 months. Like, look, this is what to expect, and that's what's been playing out. So if you've been getting your alpha here, you guys know we are right on track. Guys, look at Ton coin back up to $5.55, up one position, retaking number 9 yesterday on Pavel Durov's release. He's got that on like a $5 million bail and cannot leave France awaiting court, but he is out of jail. So we are going to be watching that as he's going forward here. Let's get into check out this Bitcoin liquidation chart. Guys, you can see here, we are sitting on the 24-hour period here with 132.25 million liquidations. Majority of those were long liquidations, okay? So in the past 24 hours, 54,458 the traders were liquidated. The total liquidations coming in at $132.2 million. The largest single liquidation order happened on Bybit. It was Bitcoin, 3.52 million. No big deal, no big deal. Let's get into the economic data that we were just talking about here at the intro, guys. GDP growth rate, quarter over quarter. We are sitting here looking at this right now. It's 3%. Now, previously, it was 1.4%. Consensus was that it was going to be about 2.8, forecast 2.8. Came in a little bit higher than that. Let's jump in here and just see what it says. Real gross domestic product for the U.S. grew at an annual rate 3%, as we just said, up from the 2.8% in the initial estimate and 1.4% in the first quarter. The upward revision was mainly due to increased consumer spending. So, is inflation going to come back? You got to ask on that, right? Consumer spending is what's driving that. And so looking at the overall GDP growth driven by the gains of the consumer spending, 2.9% in quarter one versus 1.5% in quarter two, and 1.5% in quarter one. Private inventory investments and non-residential fixed investments were some of the other moves there in that GDP, guys. Government spending at both federal and local levels. Federal is 3.3 versus 3.9, so they've slowed that down a little bit. Shocker. Those numbers will likely be revised, though. This is the interesting, though. Corporate profits, guys, and this is what we're going to break away from here. Actually, let's do the jobs, and I'll come back to this, and then we'll go talk about this, because I want to talk to the gang about this here, the panel of professors here. Initial jobless claims. We're looking at this right now. This is 231,000. They actually expected it to be higher. So labor is strengthening based on these numbers. And strong labor, that tends to lend towards, hey, we're not hurting people as bad. We don't need to drop down 2.5, 50 basis points also again. So again, another piece of data saying we might get a 25 basis point rate cut instead of a 50 basis point rate cut in September. So we're going to be watching that one closely, guys. Now let's get into this corporate profits, and then we'll come back and talk about this with the crew here on the show. Corporate profits in the U.S. rose by 1.7% from the previous period to 2,774 trillion. That's a lot of money there, guys. In the second quarter of 2024, rebounding from the 2.7% decline in the earlier quarter, according to a preliminary estimate. The rebound was led by bounce in undistributed profits. So they hadn't put everything out from the previous quarter, and now they have put it all out and reported all of those numbers. So amid the recovery for net cash flow with inventory valuation adjustments, meanwhile, net dividends were unchanged. So let's get over here. Excuse me. I think I caught what Tradefly has there. Sorry about that. Tradefly. So corporate profit. Let's talk about this, because we get this GDP data numbers and all that. That's great, right? But corporate profits coming in higher, showing, hey, we are likely going to have better earnings this next quarter, right? We keep having good earnings already. These numbers are likely going to help them gauge where they're at with the next earnings to a higher basis, right? At the same time that they can borrow money for cheaper to help their corporate liquidity, right? Their operational liquidity at the corporate level. So lower interest rates coming from the Fed Reserve means they can borrow money cheaper. That means more profits because their operating liquidity allows for more profit and less outgoing to interest. So on top of this, with corporate profits being spread out from previous quarters, that adds to that liquidity. Are are we poised to see the stock market get even bigger over the next quarter to 2 quarters, or what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, that's kinda tough. I mean, it seems to be a little bit of mixed signals. Obviously, the labor market is hurting a little bit, so how do they get there with those profits? How do they increase profits? Did they slash some jobs? Did they get more efficient with, what they have personnel-wise, and that actually increase profits? Because a lot of companies do that. You see a lot of big companies that be like, "Hey,
That
when
that
things get
actually did
tight."
happen. That happened this last. That's where that revision of almost a million jobs came from. Was
Yeah,
them reporting a little bit higher on how many, a little bit lower on how many jobs they actually cut, which allowed for them to actually cut more jobs on the profit side and show that as profit because they saved money.
yeah.
But then they,
So
came back in and slid those numbers on the back table to us. So, so yeah,
right.
that we
So
we
that's
have
kinda what
seen
I
that.
was thinking. Like, with good, there's bad, and with bad, there's good. So it's a blessing and a curse to hear some of these numbers, right? So you you're I think you're muted there for a second. You try to say something?
Oh no, no, I was
But
talking to the wife.
oh, okay. Alright. Cool. So, yeah, man, I mean, that's kinda what I'm looking at. I mean, unfortunately, it has a direct impact on the individual that are working those jobs, right? But at the same time, yeah, the big institutions, they start, increasing their profits, which I guess looks good for the stock market. If you're thinking about price action in those terms, then yeah, like unfortunately, you want to hear poor numbers in the labor market because we know we're going to get a rate cut based on that. That was that trifecta we've been talking about for a really long time. Like we needed that third element before we could start talking about rate cuts. In terms of like the point 0.5 or a 0.25, I've been saying 0.25 the whole time. They have not shown me anything else to point to a point 0.5 because they always wanna do these incremental, slow changes, right? That's Papa Pal's thing. If you don't know him, like, you need to get to know him because he's only gonna do little changes. He doesn't wanna have a dramatic effect on the economy too quick, and he said that many, many, many times, so be prepared for that. If you're thinking it's gonna be a point 0.5, be surprised or, be ready to be wrong because I truly, truly believe it's gonna be a 0.25.
Yeah, I'm in that mindset also. I think it's 0.25. We won't see the point 0.5 based on this. Although Alex O Crypto says it's 0.75, and Retro Mike
Yeah.
says, "You notice how I never wear my cast hat anymore? It's because I'm in front of a green screen here on my mobile studio, and it cuts my bill off, and I hate it. There's nothing wrong with the cast."
Fair enough.
So let's continue on here. I got some other stuff that I want to talk about, but if you guys are just joining us here, guys, welcome to Piper Academy. We had some people come over from Investing Bros, so glad to have you guys here. If it's your first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You don't even have to hit the like yet. You can wait and see if you like our content, but hit that subscribe button and then hit that notification bell so you can get notified when we go live. Once you decide, hey, this is a pretty cool place to hang out. We're live every morning, and welcome to the Piper Academy. Let's get into this other data, guys, and let's take a look at what I'm seeing here on this X post because it was pretty interesting. So I think I'm going to come over here and we're going to bring you up here on camera with us, Trey Flack, because I had that 2-man setup. There we go. We got a 3-man setup now. Let's get in here and take a look at this Miles Deutscher post because it's a pretty interesting thing that he has here. Can we get you to open on the thread, please? That would be great. There we go. Perfect. All right. So he says here, where's the retail right now? Okay. And we're going to walk through this. It's a little long, but guys, I promise you it's worth it. Where's the retail right now? And will they ever return the crypto? The entire bull market hinges on these two questions. And in this thread, we're going to take a look at it. Honest truth about 2024 crypto cycle and where did retail go? And OC or Tradefly, if you guys see anything in here as we're going through that you want to comment on, just pipe in. Okay.
You know what I'm seeing right now? Trade
What's that?
Intuition just gifted 5 Piper Academy memberships. So, There's something big.
My man. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Let me get
Sound
some
effects are
sound
coming.
effects for this
There
guy.
it is.
This
There it
guy right
is.
here, man. That is awesome. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I got some more for you. Yo, we're just soundboarding it all over the place. Ricoche No Dinero, Alex Prolific Crypto, Andrea Brando, Sash94. They all were gifted memberships. So congratulations. Come on over to our Discord. You guys will be eligible for some giveaways, trade setups, all kinds of good stuff there. And Joe, thank you very much, brother. We really, really appreciate you. If you guys don't know, Joe does have a channel as well. Go check him out, like and subscribe to his stuff as well. He's a really good dude. So thank you.
Absolutely appreciate you, brother. You are the man. Let's jump in here now and go through this. This segment here brought to you by Trade Intuition. 2021 was an explosive year for crypto. From March 2020, March 2021, you guys remember that whole cycle, right? Unless this is your first time in the crypto world, this is where we had those 50 to 100x multiples there on some altcoins. Okay, it was an absolutely parabolic run. It was the perfect storm. We had unprecedented money printing. I want you guys to remember this. Unprecedented money printing, stimulus, and people locked at home and bored, okay? That's the big one here, that money printing. Remember that. We're going to come back and talk about that because we're seeing something. Bitcoin was a strong performer. Altcoins took the center stage back then. Solana, Phantom, AVAX, Luna all pulled like 500x multiples, okay? The bubbles, as they always do, they ended badly. You remember 80% of the gains that happened, they happened in the last 20% of the cycle. That is where 80% of the run happens at. The last half. I told you guys, we're only like 44% of the way through this bull market. So we're not overly concerned yet about this last 20% yet. We still have plenty of time there, okay? Crypto is an extremely reflexive asset class, meaning that the higher the prices go, the more attention is driven in the market. So as it goes higher, more retail comes back. But that's also how retail loses money, and that's how a bunch of them lost money in November 2021. Remember, a lot of people got in over that $60,000 mark. So they're just now finally back in profit 3 years later, right? It wasn't until May 2022 that crypto would be delivered from its final death blow, and that would be Luna in the UST collapse. Okay. Crux in our chat knows all about that because he got hit pretty hard on that one. So, guys, let me know in the chat. Were you invested at all in Luna? Did you guys get hit by Luna at all on that whole move? I'd just like to know what you guys, what the experience level is here in our chat, in our alumni. So, in a matter of days, $45 billion wiped off the market. We all remember that. I'm trying to run through this pretty quick because there's a lot of stuff here. So, unfortunately, the pain would be further amplified by a raft of contagion fueled by Luna's collapse and the dubious business practice from a plethora of bad actors. We had Celsius, BlockFi, Voyager, 3AC, Three Arrows Capital being the lending company for a lot of them there. So, and of course, the most infamous FTX, which we all know. 2021 exposed the most amount of people ever to crypto. It was everywhere. It was on football stadiums, national television, celebrity Instagrams, and all over your feeds. 2022 exposed those same new entrants to the biggest losses ever in crypto. If you were burnt financially, you probably left. Okay. If you weren't burnt financially, you still left. Price and time capitulation, right? You got bored with it. And if you never invested a cent in crypto, you'd likely think the industry is a complete scam, reading the thousands of headlines that we see every day here in the crypto space, right? Only a select few chose to stay. That's you guys. Congratulations to all of you. You chose to stay in here. And despite the pain, at some point, the major shift in sentiment began to occur. Although prices had started to move off the floor in January 2023, one moment later in the year changed everything. On the 16th of June, BlackRock applied for the Bitcoin spot ETF. Many had tried and failed in the past. This time it was different. Okay, fast forward to the 1st of January. Okay, 2024, Bitcoin was trading at $43,000. Bitcoin spot ETF approval was only 10 days away, and on the 10th of January, the spot ETFs went live. History had been made. What surprised a lot of people, to include Miles Deutscher, the author here, he said, was the sheer amount of demand for these ETFs in the short term. Over $17 billion has flowed into Bitcoin spot ETFs so far this year, which is a parabolic number that should eventually lead to a price shock because there's not a lot of Bitcoin floating around. That's how much they bought, okay? The positive flows helped catalyze a huge Bitcoin rally to new all-time high, $73,000. We all remember it well. We were like, here we go, and it's way up there. And right now we're just looking up the hill at it. Like I rolled all the way back down the hill from there. So with the Bitcoins at all-time high, you'd expect altcoins to be flying just like in 2021, right? Wrong. There are a few reasons for this, and they are crucial factors to understand in order to answer the questions at the beginning of the thread. So let's unpack them. The primary driver of this cycle has been Bitcoin ETF. This is vastly different from the last cycle where it was macro conditions. M2, money supply, macro conditions. Remember that. The ETF dynamic has completely changed liquidity flows. Remember this old visual? It says we'll scrap it. New liquidity is now directed towards the ETFs. It doesn't have to direct liquidity flows into alts, which has drastically changed market dynamics this cycle. It used to be phase one, Bitcoin, into phase two, Ethereum, phase three into large caps, and then alt season. And he's saying that he, in his opinion, does not think that that's the case anymore. Altcoin dispersion is greater than ever, and the equation is simple. Too many new launches, not enough fresh liquidity. And I can agree with this. I want to talk about this one while we're on this topic, because this is a good point to discuss. Way too many launches and not enough fresh liquidity. We don't have that M2 money supply of stimulus checks printing out there. We don't have people sitting at home bored, just digging through and looking for stuff. And a lot of people that did come in 2021 got hurt when that market turned around on them because they did not understand the wild animal that is crypto. Uh, did we get too many launches this year and not enough liquidity money, so it's kind of just spread out? Instead of having a big bucket of water, it's spread out as a on the ground, and the water's just really thin across everything. Is that what's going on with altcoins here? What's your opinion on this, guys? We'll go with OC first, and we'll come around to Straight Fly.
I might have a little bit of a different opinion here, and I would say that I don't know, guys. Might be a little bit my opinion might be a little bit weighted. I do not have the exact data to back this up, but once again, based on my participation in the market, I would say that despite we have a maybe equal or even greater amount of new coins jumping in or appearing here, I don't think that that many got so much pumped out of it or so much relevance as the previous cycle. I mean, previous cycle we just had a meme coin and exploded and got into the top 20 like right away, right? I mean, we also see the surge of Dogecoin, right? We also saw baby Doge. We also saw, I mean, come on, every single meme coin, just because it was a meme coin and had a mild success, it just ripped, right? It just needed to break a certain market capitalization number, and that was the magic number, right? And it just blew up. At this point, I think I've seen more failing coins than successful coins on the meme market, and that is telling me that, you know what, the crypto market is growing. We are growing as retail, right? We already got hurt, as you mentioned, and I mean, overall, the tree has been shaken just like it happened with the .com bubble, right? I'm not saying that crypto is a bubble, but what I'm saying is that the rush, like the golden rush, right, the golden fever, and right now the meme coin fever has come into an influx point where you either learn from your mistakes or you're out of the market.
Yep.
As you.
Yep.
So that is my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree. There was some that picked up, but you notice they were mostly the ones at the beginning, or they were ones that were really big hype coins last cycle. Tradefly, what's your thoughts on this? Is there too much? Is there too many new tokens? Have we grown the space more so much that the liquidity just can't keep up with it? And that's why we're not seeing. I mean, look how far off we are from all-time highs on previous coins, like 600 plus on Matic. So, thoughts on that?
Yeah. So my counter to that is we haven't grown as much as you think we have. And I say that because there's been a 50% pullback in the total market cap, right? It was at about 3 trillion at 2021. It's now at 2 trillion. So let that sink in. That means we have less available capital as retail, which aligns because we were getting the stimulus checks back then. And so we haven't really grown as much, yet you've seen an influx in more meme tokens and smaller cap projects that it's become so overwhelming. And to be honest, I really don't like it because a lot of them don't provide any kind of utility, and then they just get rugged and it pushes more people out of the space.
Yep.
So the one thing you have seen is people have gotten a little bit smarter, people that are in the ETFs, or, you know, people like us, and we're like, hey, Bitcoin is still daddy and it's always going to be daddy. All right. So make sure that you're allocating a good percentage of your portfolio to the crypto that we know is going to stay, and that is Bitcoin. All right. Bitcoin is going to stay. Ethereum's pretty solid, right? Like, we think that's going to stay for a while as well. But after that, it gets a little dicey. Let's be honest. Like, it gets a little dicey. You really
Yep.
never know. So that would be my counter. I think we really have not grown as much. We've gone a little bit more mainstream. We're now on the radar. But like, think about this. Like, think about if we go back to $3 trillion of market cap, where Bitcoin price is going to be.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure,
It's
for
going
sure.
to
Yeah,
be
that.
high. It is going to be very high.
Yep,
So, you know,
absolutely.
that's my thought.
No, and that's great insight from both of you guys. Let's continue on here to get to this, and then we'll get to that M2. Why does Piper keep talking about M2? We're going to get to that. Retail was burnt in 2022. This brings me back to the opening context. 2022 did a lot of damage psychologically, reputationally. According to nope, can you go back, sir? Just go back one. There you go. Thanks. Sorry about that. My computer wanted to go all haywire and do its own thing, and now I'm back here looking for my bookmarks. Don't click on X post; it will open up new post. Okay, just so you guys know. All right, getting in here. There, back down. There we go. In a matter of days, $45 billion wiped off the market. No, we're down below that. If you were burnt financially, you left. Yes, that's true. Yep, we're past all that. There we go. We're getting back to where we were. So here we go. Due to the above point, lack of fundamentals belief in investing, 2021 people were investing for the long term. Someone just said it in the chat. They said, I thought it was going to keep going up forever. I'm not sure who it was that said that. It said April 2021. And he thought it would be going up forever. And that is absolutely what was the mentality was back then. Now things feel jaded, right? Most of the existing market participants are seasoned veterans. Altcoins are viewed as vaporware. People are mistrusting of even well-intentioned project founders who can blame them, right? And this makes trading extremely PvP. We are PvP players in this world now for trading. There isn't an endless flow of fresh capital to underpin the market. Well, that's actually what TradeFly was just saying. Look at that. We're all essentially fighting over the same dollars. But there was a point in March this year where retail briefly came back. This was evident in the YouTube views and social metrics, and you can see that right there. Big spike in March of this year on the social metrics, and then it disappeared right back down again. Many of the users that did return went straight to the meme coin casino. And that is when we saw the meme rally, the massive meme blow up that happened was all those people coming in on social media. But at least it's a sign that given the right conditions, interest in crypto can quickly return. Um, and then it continues on here with some of his replies. This leads me to a more optimistic closing argument to this thread. What could possibly bring back retail? Lucky there's a few variables in our favor. Bitcoin breaking an all-time high. If it breaks an all-time high, that's going to get people's attention. It'll be all over the news. Media is going to push it out, and then we're going to get that rally of retail coming back, okay? Potentially pushing towards 100,000. That's another level that's going to push a lot of people into us. So got that trio cam running now. Oh, okay. Talking about your thing. I thought
Oh yeah.
I thought I was on trio cam still, man. Yes, many of the aforementioned issues like altcoin dispersion could still exist, but it would definitely it would definite pave. It would definitely, there's what he's trying to say, pave over some cracks, okay? So a Bitcoin rally equals a more media attention, people front running on altcoin rotation, and that optimism coming back. So humans are innate gamblers. Crypto's the best casino in the world. We like to gamble, right? The reason retail hasn't come back actually is super simple. Altcoins haven't maintained a sustained rally yet. And what could change that? Well, that goes into the Pareto principle. 80% of all gains come at the last 20%, right? So That's where we really need to get to. Retail is going to join the party late, and at this point, it's really just waiting on price action to get back above 73,000. That's one for Bitcoin, and two, we have to see this M2 money come up. So here's the so what of all of this. You guys are like, man, he just walked us through an entire thread. I did. There's a reason for it. Guys, look right here. Check this out. This is M2 money supply historically to Bitcoin price action. You can see here it pulled down and then all of a sudden rallies up, right? You can see money flow comes down here after last cycle. Look what happens. It goes up. Well, we had a pullback. This right here would be that period of about 2023, 2022, where okay, guys, we're in a recession. Money flow has continued to go up and it had jumped massively sitting right here in the past 3 months. And we're about to get liquidity back into the Fed Reserve at the same time that this price action is hitting in this sideways trend. Is this any normal trend for Bitcoin? Well, everyone, we'll just look at it from an elections perspective before we get into the chart. But here is every US election cycle that overlapped Bitcoin. Okay. You can see here the 2016, 2017, pretty much flat into elections, blows up. Green, that is 2020 to 2021. It was pretty much flat. There's a little halving, pulls down a little bit, takes off to the upside and blows up. 2024, 2025. Now we get into a little bit early of a move because of the ETF. But pretty much, if you look at how flat all of this was, we're just on an extended flattening. We didn't do the gradual up. We came up and then kind of rode sideways. We're in this sideways motion heading into these U.S. elections. That breakup at that point, guys, if we're following the same thing we've done every 4 years, we're still on track for that movement back above 73,000. That movement above 73,000 is what is going to break us into more people coming in, and then all of the retail will flush in at the last 20%. Reminder, we're only about 44% of the way through the bull run. So we still have months to go. And we've showed you guys that monthly chart where October, November is really where we start to see the turnaround. August, September is where we have the pullbacks. And while I guess Crypto Archie said yesterday on his live stream that there's really not enough history for you to base anything on, I will tell you, as an analyst, a professionally trained analyst, 2 times is a pattern, 3 times is a trend. And that is all we need is 3 cycles. We have that right now. So I have to operate on the information that's given. And based on that information, we are still on track for this bull run. And that's what I wanted to put out there. TradeFly OC thoughts.
Yeah, no, the only thing I was gonna touch on was, and you kind of hit it, was that calendar, right? That data there, it really tells you, hey, September is gonna be a little bit of a pullback, which doesn't mean sell, it actually means buy. So September would be that time that you look for that low that we find on a major support level, and then wherever you're comfortable getting in, that's gonna be it, because October, November is where you should start seeing that uptrend theoretically. Now, that being said, it really depends on who gets elected. Because let's be honest, if the orange man gets in, then we're all good, right? We'll just keep continuing in the direction we're going. If Kamala gets in, then this could be issues for crypto. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have a massive pullback, but it's going to be a little bit tougher sledding, because I think that the regulations that they try to put on crypto are going to be a little bit tighter. And I don't think they're going to be as friendly, right? They're not going to look to keep Bitcoin as a reserve like Trump is. And that's a big difference, all right? Because that protects the Bitcoin, right? And so it's not getting sold, and it takes away from that. Go ahead. I see you. You want something to say. All right, let's hear it.
Actually, I think that the
Actually,
regulation comes down on crypto and Bitcoin is isolated from that. And I think that it actually squeezes more of the money sitting in alts over the Bitcoin in that scenario.
I don't know, man. I mean, the US they're not going to use it as a reserve, right?
No,
That makes a
they're not
difference.
going to, but they're also not going to
Right.
go against the financial giants that they literally called on the phone and said, "Hey, we've got a pandemic. What do we do?" BlackRock's not going to allow that to happen. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. You got politicians, and then you got the people that run the government, called
Right. And that's
financial
why I'm not
institutions.
that's why I'm not slamming it, right? Because a lot of people you hear talk about the difference in the split. They're like, hey, if one gets in, the Democratic side, if they get in, then they're like, it's going to be terrible. It's doom and gloom, right? I'm not saying that. I just
Yeah, yeah.
think it's going to be tougher sledding, right?
Oh,
It's not
for
going to
sure.
be that parabolic move anymore because I think that they're going to suppress that,
Yeah.
in my mind, and I could be wrong,
But I
but
think a
that's just
majority
my
of that
thoughts on it.
focus goes to altcoins and stuff like that, and Bitcoin gets greased rails in that scenario. So, for the financial world, there's
Maybe.
people like Larry Fink are, and when you got people like Jamie Dimon starting to come out and talk positive about Bitcoin, and then you have all of these companies talking about putting their tokenized market assets into play. I think they have a lot more sway on uh, Kamala Harris. That's it. Um, I almost said President Kamala. We're not there yet. As President Kamala Harris. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. So let's get into Bitcoin. Let's look at this. Guys, get your charts ready up. And we're at the top of the hour, a little bit past. So, guys, let us know in the chat what altcoins you'd like to see today, what stocks you'd like to see today, because I do want to pull in and look at that. So let's jump over here. Bam, there we go. We do have the stock heat map, guys. You can see here, NVIDIA still down 3.2% today. Apple's up, though. Microsoft up. Google's up. Meta's up. Amazon's up. Me personally, NVIDIA, their earnings were strong. They're talking a projected growth of like 40% is what they said. And then I do have one piece here I'm going to show you of why I'm also bullish on NVIDIA. It is this right here, Morgan Stanley. Yep. Morgan Stanley raises their target on Nvidia from 150 to 150 from 144. Bernstein raised it by $25 there. Wells Fargo raised theirs 155 to 165. Goldman Sachs raised theirs to 135. I mean, you can see everybody raised their prices on their earnings reports yesterday. Looking at what I'm seeing on this at 3% down, I'm seeing buying opportunity. This is going to be this is going to be where I'm watching to put some money in stocks today. So just not financial advice, my personal opinion. Let's look at Bitcoin. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily here, guys, we did get that pullback. It happened here right off of that value area high, giving us that pullback, and then down we go to the golden pocket, the 0.66. That is the bounce point that we got there. And right now we are moving to the upside. I do want to point out we have almost closed our CME gap that we had this week. Right there, we're almost at the top of it. It's working its way up. Watch this level, guys. 61,470, 61,500 if you want to get that little bit of extra wick there and a nice round number. But right now, I am watching that for it to be a rejection point. That would be the closeout of that CME gap. And that's going to be a big one for it. But going back to the Bitcoin chart, watching where we are over here. I am watching that right there for that level. That would also put us right in line with what I'm seeing on this line right here. Do you see this? This is called the dynamic reactor, and it's coming in right there about that price. Also, it would be a rejection. And a lot of times you can see here in the past, we've gotten rejected off this numerous times. Let me get rid of this triangle for you. There you go. You can see how much rejection we've had on that dynamic reactor. So that's coming in right there in that range. Also, guys, be on the watch out. I'm going to go ahead and kick this over to TradeFly and OC and let them get into some TA. TradeFly, you got that heat map up. Let's see what you're seeing there, bro.
I do. So I got the heat map up on the 3-day right now. You guys can clearly see where the hot spot is. That's about 64K. All right, about 64K is where you got the hottest spot on the chart. You can see price action is starting to work its way up very slowly up and right. So that's actually a pretty good sign. You don't see any crazy volatility, just kind of working its way up and right. No big deal there. But that is the hottest spot on the map. So let's go over to the map. There's a couple things I want to look at here. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and look at Bitcoin on the weekly. I did talk about this a little bit on Crypto Nightcap last night, but if you were there, then guess what? You get to hear this again. So I've been tracking this channel, and this channel goes back way back, like 2020. All right. So basically looking at the two highs here back in 2021. And, so that's kind of where this all started. But now that you're looking at a channel, so the price action we can agree on is working its way up and right. And you can see here, this median here of this top channel, all right, it was support and resistance. And you also had that retest of this area before it actually broke down. But look at the bottom side of this channel here. You can see where support. Now, when we had our dump all the way down to bear market lows, worked its way back up. It was finding support, rode its way up, finding support, had a little bit of resistance, and then it popped, right? So now we found resistance here on the median of the channel again. But what are we starting to form? It looks like a bull flag, right? It looks like it's starting to form a bull flag, and it is a descending broadening wedge. All right, so you can see it's kind of like a megaphone. It's opening up here. Both of those patterns are bullish on the weekly, both of them. All right, so you're looking at that. We're like, all right, cool. We came down to the bottom side. We found support. Like, it's kind of playing out as expected. So do not be surprised if this is just kind of a pit stop where we're getting consolidation, which is healthy, because look at the difference between this all-time high, this all-time high, and this all-time high, right? We're staying up here. All right. You could see this one was quick. All right. People just cashed out. Things got terrible, and it just went all the way down to bear market lows. This is a much, much different looking chart, or pattern, we'll say, than it was previously. So this is good. All right. So you got support, and then top side here of the trend line. I mean, obviously, you're going to probably expect a little bit of resistance here, but that's kind of starting to show confluence with the point of control 2021 high, depending on how quick the move will be coming up. So look for that. This is more of a kind of zoomed out, right? So I don't expect this to happen in the next couple of days or anything like that, but keep an eye on this chart. Very, very important. But if we get a breakout, this could be massive. And for us to get up to those areas where we're talking about 100K and things of that nature, like that's well within play based on this chart. It's actually in excess. But I stand firm when I was telling you guys that, hey, like when I'm talking about a high here for Bitcoin, I mean, I love simple TA. I love very simple trend lines. I do think we start getting up to about 90K or so, and you are going to find resistance just based on a very simple trend line that goes up and right. So that's zoomed out look, but two areas that you got to keep an eye on. Look, you're starting to build confluence, which is kind of wild. Is this trend line is crossing with the point of control, and then the median here is actually starting to meet up with the all-time high. So definitely two areas. You're going to have pit stops. You're going to have resistance. Good opportunities for scalps, intradays, those kind of trades. So keep an eye on those. Let's go down to a shorter time frame and just look at what we got going on currently, because there are a couple areas that we need to concentrate on here. All right, let me go ahead and get our oscillators up. All right, so looking at this trend line right here, this is your key right now. This trend line, it has confluence with the value area low, dynamic reactor, all kind of lining up in this area right here. This is where we have to fight with resistance. Okay, so we're using this trend line as support all the way up. Then we broke out, retest, broke back down. But this 58.5 area, very, very important. You could see that's very clear support, and there was an opportunity there for a quick trade up to right here where we're at time now. So if you're intraday, you took something short, this is probably the area where you'd be like, all right, this is where I'm going to have to pause and kind of wait to see what happens. Personally, what I would like to see is I'm not going to go long right here. I want to get on the top side of this area again. Now, I did get burned by this once, so I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. We got on the top side of this. Price was coming down. I was looking to flip this resistance into support. So let me go ahead and change that, because I need to clearly show that it's resistance, right? So that red area, resistance. I'm going to be looking for the same thing. All right. I'm not going to lie. I might get burned twice, but I guess I'm just maybe a glutton for punishment, but still looking at this, it still looks pretty healthy. All right. So if we get over this area of resistance, I'm still going to be looking forward to flip it into support and then look for that continuation up and right. So hopefully I don't get burned twice on this one. You do want to come down to the oscillators and see that continuation of strength coming up and right as well. So it is looking better. These are starting to kind of level out when you're looking at the oscillators within the oscillator, right? They're starting to level out a little bit, and you see RSI starting to work up. You did get a reversal, oversold, all those indications on the 4 hour. And then you can see the power bar right here starting to get a little bit lighter as well, which all good signs here that we could be looking for a little bit of positive momentum. And where did we have liquidity? Right here. All right, at 64K. Remember, you got to remember those numbers there. All right, and that lines up with where we had resistance before. So that's kind of what I would be looking at once we get on the top side of this. Look for OC retest up here, and then boom, that would be my exit personally. So that's what I'm kind of waiting for. I'm in a wait and see mode for Bitcoin right now. So you're at resistance is the big story of the day. So be very, very careful. I'll pass it over to OC and shout out to Louis B. Hey guys, Tao, 4 hour, please. We got you, dog. We got
Yeah,
you. Thank you for the super
I
chat.
put together some of the requests that we had there in the list there. OC, we got Tao. Did you see that list?
Just watching it now. Sorry, I was in responding a couple of things, but yeah, I watch it. I have it right now. Yeah,
By
Tao,
the
I
way,
can do it right now.
Tradefly, Lunar Beaches says he's about to short. He thinks it's going down. So. That's what he thinks. That's what he's saying right there. Get low. That's what he's going to do. Is short that thing.
Yeah.
OC.
I mean, you're at resistance, so it's not. I can understand where you're looking at that, but there's momentum now going in with a second retest, and
Yep.
price action looks like it's going in a little bit. It's solid the way it's working up right now. If you look at the 4 hour, I mean, you could be right. You could be right, but I would say I'd be less likely to short on this retest than I was on this test of the trend line. So this
Especially
is
when
kind
I'm
of
seeing what I'm seeing on the TradFi market today too. The TradFi market's looking really good too. So looking at all those assets, scanning that battlefield there, we know what to do. So
Target locked. Ready.
he's just loving his new soundboard, man. He's getting them all in.
that's right. Let's go.
He's getting
OC,
them all
what
in.
you got for us on your TA, bro?
Absolutely. Let's take a look at here. Let me just go over it first over Bitcoin. This is yesterday's trade that I was taking, and it got stopped out at a live class here because I was expecting for an entry point in here, which, by the way, I set up a very short targeting here. Why? Because I was looking for the next possible entry zone. Just so you know, I did miss a little bit of that entry, and I had a late entry right after this candle. We'll see that in the next chart that I'm going to be showing you. But as you can see, we were also expecting it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and off we go. It's a little bit offset because this was on the 4 hour time, on the daily time frame. Here we go, and you can see it much cleaner here. So the thing is that I was a little bit wrong in here. I think that the movement is going to be farther back below like that. Now that we have a big body kind of crossing through the dynamic reactor, something important that I also want to show you guys, it is the 4 hour time frame right here, and it is the coexistence between a strong bullish and strong bearish within a couple of candles, right? This for me, it is not special. It's not actually interference, but they're so close together that they usually tell me that we're gonna have a little bit of a wider range. This is a little trick that I want to let you guys in, so you can basically use it as starting a range stuff. Like for example, right here we have a strong and a strong. You see that? Then we have a third strong. And what happened as soon as we have these two together? Well, then we had a next one after we have a breakout, right? If we go farther back down, we'll see that repeats over and over. So this is the very first time since a long time that we have a strong and a strong very close together. So I am expecting maybe one or two more bounces between these two areas before we start getting ready to break. And that might be coexisting with what Piper has been talking about, which is this and next month might be just a little bit of a consolidation, nothing too exciting, right? But absolutely worth it to maybe be trying to trade it. So other than that, let me go over Bitcoin here. Let me see, where do I have it? Very quick, I just want to show you my entry. And well, it's not here. I don't know why it's not here. Oh, I know why. It's another one. But other than that, let's go over TAO just to get a little bit of what is happening here. Let's go over to the 4 hour. And guys, you might already notice that I have built my layer system. It's a little bit more heavy than usual, but I'm going to go over it throughout the classes, not all in together. So the first thing I want to see, it is that I have a strong signal. Let's just double check that I have my 43 right there, and that is just my particular number that I like to use, and that usually plays along with what I see, right? We're technically breaking below the dynamic reactor here. Our prime score is fairly neutral, right? Remember, 1, 2, and 3 are bearish, 4, 5, and 6 are neutral. So we're fairly neutral here. Consolidation score, it is 1. So basically we are breaking the range. So did we break the range? Absolutely, we did break it. And also we have our pump going on here. If you have the plus, you can skip going into the replay mode, right? And it will be much easier just to turn it on and see where did we have the pump. So during the pump here. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. I think we're still good for a possible bouncing here, especially since we are right at the dynamic reactor. And also, if you take a closer look in here, let me just remove everything. I'm adding other oscillators around here, right? Not oscillators, sorry, it's other dynamic, other reactors down here, right? I have my volume flex and I have my quantum reactor. I'm using them as a overpower EMA crossing at this point, right? So where could I maybe going? Maybe I could be having a little bit more retracement here for a swing failure pattern like that, because we are in a very, very dramatic downtrend, and usually those dramatic downtrends are not sustainable for long periods of time. But we need to wait, and our last area of support is going to be the quantum reactor, especially since right now I throw in here my order blocks. You'll see that that's exactly where I have the concentration between an order block and a liquidity area, both very, very bullish. So do I think that we're going to be making it to the upside? That depends on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it is daddy. So I think that is what we're going to be looking at. And if Bitcoin behaves or at least moves sideways, I think we have a real chance to make a big movement down here, especially since we have seen that after double tops and big body movements like this, right, we have a very nice pullback. So a very nice pullback might be on its way depending on the Bitcoin movement. So if you like TAO and you are willing to hold it, I think this is a good chance to start DCAing in and just prepare for what's coming up. So not financial advice. Turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Let's jump in. I want to knock out AVAX and HNT. Very quick, rapid fire TA here. We're getting close to the bottom of the hour. We've still got a long list, so let's just keep this short and simple, guys. So basically, what we just to wrap up everything on that Bitcoin, this is what we need to happen there. So there you go on that. Let's get in and take a look at AVAX and see what we're seeing on there. Where you at, AVAX? There we go. Perfect. AVAX got a wow, look at that, guys. My fibs, I'm telling you, I love the fibs. May have a fib indicator coming very soon from Chart Prime that is going to take out all the guesswork for you on this. So, guys, this right here, the 0.66 is a level that I use all the time. Typically, traditionally, fibs are 0.65. I like the 0.66, and you can see why, because it plays a lot better a lot of times. So, we got a perfect rejection there on the 4-hour, came down. I do think that we could be heading back down here for another retest right here. That is the value area low of the fixed range volume profile in line with the 0.786. If we do get that pullback, that would be the level to watch. If we do come up, we're looking at about $27.94. Keep in mind, though, we do have a dynamic reactor coming down here. Was previous resistance. This reactor, very powerful moving average, possibly could be in line with the 0.66 by the time price gets back up there. That would be what I'm watching for on that level there. So bottom side, $20.80. Upside, $27.94. We'll say $28 range there. The reason that I do think, though, that we're going to head down here first is because looking here at the oscillator, we do have the overbought boxes there. We are pushing with a downtrend arrow. We did get a bearish divergence there. It does look like we could be coming down. Also, we had the highlight there on the bullish power bar. That is saying, hey, we're losing power. It's waning. That is about the same time that we rejected off of that golden pocket. When I look down here at the oscillators, can I grab that? Thanks. There you go. I am seeing some things here. We are coming back down here on the True 7 indicator. It is moving to the downside. And then also money flow is in the red still, but it does look like it's trying to push up. That's why I said there's that little chance that it could be upside movement continuation. But looking at the volume coming down, the True 7 coming down, the ribbon coming down, all these indicators up here saying oversold, 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 and downtrend, does likely look like we could be seeing that downside move here first and then a continuation to the upside. That's what I'm going to be watching on AVAX. Let's jump into HNT. I got to pull it up here. I know I have a chart somewhere in here, but this is the quickest way to do it. There we go. And let's jump into HNT and see what we're seeing on here. Oh, I got some old fibs on here too. Look at that. Let's get a fixed range volume profile in here so we can get that volume levels. Can you continue all the way out for me? That would be great. Let's go there and extend to the right. Perfect. Okay. Looking at this data, guys, we are getting a rejection currently on that value area high. Actually stopped us from even getting all the way into the golden pocket here of the Fibonacci sequencing. But looking at the oscillator at the bottom, I actually think that we have something going on here. Tell Me Something Good is the name of the song today on this chart, because money flow is coming up. We do have the ribbon coming up. We do have a turn up right there of the true 7. You can see it peaked out there, came back down, has cooled off, and now coming back up. And you can see right there that light peach color of the ribbon. That is what happens before we go into a green ribbon. So that's giving us a little bit of hopium there also. HNT looking pretty decent as of right now. Now, I will say that we did pull out right there that little orange symbol. That is a value, the VWAP overbought that did trigger, but then we pulled down, got a nice bounce right there on that on the quantum reactor. It's another one of the powerful reactors from Chart Prime Indicator Suite Plus, and so that is where we got our bounce on, and that is coming to the upside. So, but watch it. Value area high, guys, could be coming back down for a retest of the 50 before continuation. That downside being $6.80, upside $8.14. There is HNT. There's AVAX. Let's kick it over and let's see what TradeFly's got.
Yeah, so I'm just reading up on this Gary, because that was one of the coins that was requested, and I'm looking at the chart right now, really ugly, to be honest with you. So I was like, well, let me do a little research because I don't know much about it, and I'm just trying to see if this is like a rug or what, because the way it looked as soon as it got put on an exchange, and it looks like this on multiple exchanges, is it just dumped, and it's just been a continuous downtrend ever since, like to the point where like it's as low as it has gone ever.
And that's from back room here. That is exactly what we were talking about. A lot. There's so many new projects that have come out this year, and there's just not enough retail money in to really pump any of these. It is like shooting, it's like shooting into the dark and hoping that you hit a target, 300 meters away. With some of these coins, and so be very careful with things like this. I mean, yeah, you can trade them. They're if you have it on an exchange that you can short it. There's some plays there, but this should not be in a major piece at all of your portfolio. And BC Port Corp just actually said that Gary is a rug. So be
Yeah,
very,
that's I
very
was looking
careful.
at. I was kind of thinking about whether it was a rug. That's kind of why I started looking at it on CoinMarketCap, because sometimes they'll actually say, "Hey," they'll leave a warning message saying like, "Hey, be careful with this." I mean, so like you are getting bullish divergence on the daily multiple times, though, but you can see even with getting those, it's continued to work its way down. So, I mean, it, I can't in any good conscience tell you to invest in this until we see some kind of reversal. It's got to be over this dynamic reactor, and like you'll have to see like in the community if if it's still kicking. I don't know, man. I can't. I don't want to have any comment on Gary, to be honest with you. It just doesn't look healthy right now. So that's unfortunately. I wish I had something better for you. But that's one of those things I just want to stay away from.
There you go. That's sound advice. We were talking earlier about crypto is the biggest casino in the world, and people like to gamble. Sometimes you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So there you go. There's the advice on Gary. Let's go over OC. What do you got for us for TA? Are you swamped right now? Or are you busy? You got it. You ready?
No, but I'm back. I'm back
Okay.
on the game,
All right.
guys. Yeah, sorry.
OC working his fiat mining at the same time as he's doing TA on here. I gotta make sure. You
Oh
ready to do
yeah,
some TA, bro?
perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's just been a little bit of a, to support and stuff. I mean, we've been fine tuning things to get you guys the best support experience, of course. But here is, I basically just need to change my preset here because I was marking them on the strategy ribbon, and then I was on the other one on the Chart Prime Plus. But right here, you can see where did I enter. Remember, guys, that this was already a call out. I was hitting this alert zone right here for me to enter. What happened? I hit the alert, but did not jump in right away. Why? Because I wanted to see a continuation of a chart. Why? Because I don't want to get trapped in something like that falls back down. Can I guarantee not to get into here? Not really. But what I can do is just wait for a little bit of volatility. Remember that yesterday we have the earning reports of NVIDIA, right? And I was expecting just to wait out that volatility. And of course, I did play it out very nicely. Then looked for that next weekend action that previously happened. And after one, two candles, small candles, right? But towards that direction, already having the flip of the ribbon, crossing. Let me show you exactly where or what I was looking at, crossing through that green cloud. Well, then that's exactly when I did enter for a trade. I'm about to take profits right now, guys, right? Look at my stop loss. It is right at the previous week, and then I give it a little bit of a wiggle room. Just so you know, my stop loss is already at entry. I have nothing to lose, but I just wanted to keep it up like this as it was. All right, so let's go also over near. I know it was not requested, but I waited exactly the same thing, waited for that same volatility, waited for the big wick, waited for one more candle close, and then I jumped into near. Other things that, guys, I think because we're running out of time, that you should be looking at that we've been talking about. It is Solana. Let me go over here on this one. I think I got it marked on this one very quick. Solana, we're basically coming back into the area that I have marked in here. If we can make it above here, it's going to be a long for me because we have some reversals here. The only thing that I'm not liking, it is the money flow, but we have a ton of support. Another maybe retest might be on its way to make that double bottom. So watch that for this upcoming week. Also, ADA, it's another important one. I am expecting just a couple of more candles just to make sure that we break to this liquidity area to jump into a long and then render also on bouncing areas. In fact, if we can close this candle a little bit more positive, we're having a couple of things in here. I will be jumping today into a possible render long. So not financial advice, guys, just a couple of trades set up for you, just to rapid fire for you guys have some knowledge here. Throwing it back to you, Piper.
Yeah, real fast, just to wrap it up here on NVIDIA, just so you guys can see what's going on with it. We had the sell-off yesterday on the earnings report that came down. We did wick below one of the powerful reactors here, the dynamic reactor, and we also lost the quantum reactor. You can see that right there. Guys, the current 4-hour wicks that we have here are both rejected off of that quantum reactor, but all of our support has come off the dynamic reactor. We have gotten an uptrend, and now money flow is starting to come up. I would watch for today, tomorrow. Let's come over here and we'll talk this out. Today, afternoon, and tomorrow for NVIDIA to get a move to the upside. And here's why I say that. Monday is Labor Day. And so we will not have markets open on Monday, just so you guys are tracking. So we have a 3-day weekend of no markets. And unless I'm mistaken, let me know in the chat. But I'm pretty sure there's no markets open on Monday. Can you check that out, TradeFly, real fast so we can verify that before we get off stream? Just look for stock market closed Labor Day and see what comes up. I want to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. So we're going to have today, tomorrow, before a 3-day weekend of market closing. So and then also I want to address Andrea's question. So Andrea, welcome first. Again, welcome back to the academy here. You said, as a whole, I've noticed that when a protocol goes live, the timing sometimes can make or break a protocol. And how do we decide to get into one? You said, what do you all consider when investing when a protocol goes live, bear or bull? I typically see when a protocol goes live, there's a big pump and then there's a pullback. I prefer market closed. BC Port Corp has confirmed market is closed on Monday. So there's no market open on Monday. We'll still be live for the morning market report because we're going to be looking to see what's going on after that weekly close of crypto and going into the week, looking at that data and all that stuff. It's just going to give us extra time to prepare for the volatility that TradFi brings into the markets for us. Okay. But Andrea, when I look at a protocol, I know that it's going to go up. I try not to get caught in that FOMO of the opening of a protocol. I wait for it to come back down, stabilize, and then I look for my entry. Also, look at the tokenomics, stuff like that. How much of it went out to the actual team and how much of it went out to the community. How decentralized is it? Is one person, some venture capitalist sitting there with the majority of it that he can just sell after everything pumps up on the hype of opening and project launching, and then sell his off and take profit and dump it all? You got to consider all that stuff. So I tend to wait for it to come back down and level off. But Trey Fly, what do you got for the people on the way out? What are your thoughts about this 3-day weekend? We've got one more major trade day. That is tomorrow after for this week, and then we have 3 days off. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Hey, crypto's always open, baby. We're open for business. I think I want to say there was a Labor Day that we had a pump. It was a low volume pump for crypto over the weekend because I remember going camping with the kiddos, and I was like, I'm looking at my phone every once in a while. I'm like, dang, everybody said, I don't believe in low volume pumps, and this thing just went up like 15%. So hey, you never know. If we break through that area of resistance, you could see a nice little move to the upside. So don't be scared. Take a look, see, keep an eye on the numbers we gave you on the charts. And OC, my dude, he stole the soul train, says BC Port Corp, and then he rugged me with Gary. So thanks, dude. I appreciate you. Much love.
All right,
Oh,
OC.
he's on. I think he's on mute.
OC, what do these people get if they smash that like button today? What will they see in the markets for the weekly close if they smash that like button today?
Well, I think we're gonna be seeing a little bit more blood in the streets before we see, and this for the midterm scenario, right? But guys,
those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Nice. I also have one more thing that I needed to share at the beginning, but I completely forgot, which is Fly. But did you die, my friend?
No, eyelids. You can't kill me, man. I'm back in the fight,
Great.
baby. I'll see y'all tonight
Nice.
on the
That's what we
crypto
want to see.
nightcap. Doing it every Monday through Thursday, baby. Let's do it. Let's go. Me and my man FD.
Absolutely. Guys, quick reminder. Thanks so much for joining. Click that like button, because if you do, you might have tomorrow the greatest and best breakfast ever. Don't believe me? Click that like button and that breakfast will come to your table. Don't believe me? Try it out and let me know.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us here today on Piper Academy, the morning market report. Remember, tune in this evening. Check out Crypto Nightcap. Last night they had a Crypto Blood on. Great show. And so good job on that one, guys. We got more guests coming next week. Is it next week? Yeah, I believe next week.
Next Tuesday, I have Retro Mike Tech coming on.
There we go. RMT in the chat right now, going to be coming on next week. I'd like to get him on the morning stream too. Him and I can talk miners, because he's really smart on mining too, and so I'm pretty hip on all that. So we need to get him on here too. But next week on the morning market report, we're going to have Richard Berry coming on from the Billy Goat Tales community. He is going to be on here, and if you guys don't know, he's also a comedian. We might be showing a little clip of his comedy, and that's the night before his one of his big shows coming up. So he's going to be on here talking crypto. No laughing matter when it comes to crypto. So, and we got our guest number 4. We're gonna have to get her own camera here. We'll have a quad cam. But guys, let's get out of here. We're gonna be heading over to Randy Hipper show. So we're gonna be raiding. Drop those caps when you get in there, guys. We will catch you guys right here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Let's get it, guys. We're out of here. Trade safe, and as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra. That was awesome, dude!